All right, good morning, everybody. We've got a lot to talk about today. We're going to look at things through the lens of the Kamala camp and also the Donald Trump camp. We're going to talk about polling data. We're going to talk about what I believe is happening heading into the Democratic National Convention starting next week, and what I expect from that. Lots to cover today. I haven't done one of these in a couple of days, and in political terms, the landscape has changed dramatically. So, we're going to start off with a video here that you have to see. So, this says breaking pro-Palestinian protesters just stormed into a private meeting between Kamala Harris campaign officials. They set off smoke bombs inside the restaurant. Look at this. Look at the chaos that is happening within the Democratic Party. Again, I just want to reference the fact that you've got LGBTQ plus, you've got Antifa elements, you have pro-Palestinian elements, you've got centrist, traditional Democrat elements. It's quite the diverse group, and not necessarily in a good way. But let's go ahead. I want to pull this up real quick here and show this to you. I'm also gonna. Yep. Okay, that's fixed. Great. So let's play this. Listen to this chaos. One sec. Sorry, I just realized I was muted. I'll have to redo some of this. Hey guys. So I've said that this is going to come for a while. That this chaos is fostering within this party, and that it's going to manifest itself in really crazy ways in the future. And I think if you look at this video and you objectively um, review it, this is not good for the Kamala campaign. You can spin this all you want. It's not good for Kamala Harris's campaign. It's devastating, actually. And I can continue to see more of that happening, and I can see it escalating. Yeah, sorry for the mute, guys. I can see this escalating in the future, where we're gonna see really potentially violent and powerful altercations, especially with the pro-Palestinian crowd, because you got to realize these guys, they want certain guarantees. They want to know that she's not going to support Israel anymore, somebody who's been a major ally for our country for a very long time. If you guys can hear me, let me know. So, and they're not going to get that. They're not going to get those guarantees. There's no way they can do that, even though Kamala didn't show up when Netanyahu spoke, and she's kind of been MIA on a lot of things, including crypto. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. There's still a problem where they want this, they require this, like this is a part of their primary objective, and she's not going to be able to give it to them, and so it's only going to get more insane as we head into the DNC. So I think you guys, oh, all right, great, JJ the Savage can hear me, awesome. So I think it's only going to get more outrageous and insane as we head into the DNC, the Democratic National Convention. on the 19th, I think it's starting. So we've got about 4 or 5 days. So be prepared for that. We also have this problem. I won't play this whole video, but it's great. I've been listening a ton to the black community, both on the left and the right, trying to get a gauge of how they're going to go this election, because it's so dramatic. It can have dramatic impact when we're looking at what's going to happen with the election in swing states, places like Pennsylvania, just places that have heavy black populations. And what I've been hearing has been shocking to me. Just a guy walking up and just talking to a bunch of different people in Washington, D.C., and virtually, like, the vast majority of them, I shouldn't say vast, maybe 60% of them are pro-Trump in a jurisdiction that is just not that. So, but this speaks to that too. So this is a post I did a little bit ago. It just has this lady trying to speak to the policies of Kamala Harris, but she can't do it because there are no policies, and the ones that are there sound like Trump because she's trying to shift to sound like a centrist. And so when you literally 2 months after Trump says, "Hey, we're not going to do anything, or we're going to go ahead and eliminate taxes on tips," and your own party, and you specifically, and the current president of the United States, worked to create greater enforcement against people that get tips, and now all of a sudden you're against it, and that's just not a unique party platform objective, and so it does not work well. JDEC88, a lot of black men love Trump. Dude, I'm shocked by it. I have a number of black friends too that some of them are with him, others are very traditional, stick with all blacks should go down this path. I'm going to be doing a video today, too, from Steve Harvey talking about Trump. It is shocking. It's definitely something that makes me reevaluate his character and just, like, again, just seeing what Trump was like in office. It's really good. It's funny. It's crazy. I'll do that one after this. So I think you guys will enjoy it. Pab, thank you for joining the channel, man. I really appreciate it. Everybody that supports me, these political posts, do not treat me well. I've been demonetized on and off. For anybody who knows me on X, you know that I got demonetized for my 4 first political videos. But the second I did a pro-communism, pro-Kamala Harris one, I got through just fine. So very interesting how that works. Anyway, let me see here. BGC, can't believe how people can support Kamala. Everybody just comes at things from different perspectives. Some are really educated, some are not. Some have just different life experiences. So things like that can happen, especially if you live in a community where everybody does, and then you don't really know the difference, or you don't have an economics background, or you don't know history really well and know what happens when you start to implement price controls and things like, Marxist, socialist, communist policies. They just don't know, right? And so it's our job to educate them, and that's why I'm here today. Even if I lose followers like I have been, that's what it is. Pab, Jesse, had to sign up. Absolutely proud of you and going all out politically. It's kind of weird, man, because I literally voted for Biden, and and now I'm fighting the exact opposite fight. It's very strange for me. I told myself I wasn't going to get political, but I can't help but not, because I feel like our country and its future is more important than how many views I get, how many people like me, and how many people follow me. All right, Polos Bro, which means chicken bro. Morning, Comrade Jesse. Yeah, no Comrade Jesse today. So when I did that Kamala video, I had to do a lot of improv, trying to make it sound like I was pro-communism. So it was a very strange experience, but we're going to roll down through Kamala. We're going to look at polling data, some of the latest stuff, very interesting. And then we're going to talk to Trump too, but we're going to try and roll through this fast. So this says, Brennan Carr in 2021, Vice President Harris agreed to lead the administration's $42 billion plan to extend internet to millions of people across America. This is in 2021. Today, over 1,000 days after the plan was enacted, 0 people have been connected to the internet with that money. There are 0 projects underway. This is how effective government is, and also government under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. I don't think that's a good thing. Let's go down further. We have meet Filiberto Gonzalez, a Mexican national who is in the country illegally. He was just arrested for raping a 10-year-old boy in Mississippi. Isn't that great? Reminder that Kamala is the border czar. And there's just numerous circumstances like this one I just referenced one, but again, we know that there were a whole bunch of things like DNA testing and things that weren't done by the Border Patrol. They weren't done by the Border Patrol, and then a bunch of people at Homeland Security decided to speak out. They got in a lot of trouble. They had the Border Patrol going after them too. There were these internal conflicts. It's a mess. Now, I don't know if this is true, so take it for what it's worth. But Marina, I saw Ted Cruz posting this a little bit ago too. So again, this might not be true. I want to know the truth. But it says the U.S. allegedly gave Tehran, Iran, a list of Mossad agents. These are agents within Israel involved in Haniyeh assassination. So if that happened, the persecution that the people would have inside of Iran would be insane. They will make examples of these people. So if that actually happened, that's the worst betrayal between the relationship of Israel and the United States that's happened in American history, as far as I know. All right, Tom Cotton. Tim Walz traveled to China more than 30 times. This is amazing because China paid for most of it, guys. I've seen so much about this, and I've seen videos of him talking about his experiences at China. So, usually sponsored in part or full by the Chinese Communist Party, I can assure you China was not paying for Tim Walz to travel out of generosity. This was an attempt to cultivate future U.S. leaders. And to be clear, this started around the time of Tiananmen Square. He went before that and was helping with teaching there. And then even just like, I think it was months, it might have been a year after Tiananmen Square, he had so much praise for the Chinese government and how they were educating and just how their economics are and all this other stuff. How is it possible that we're okay with a guy who's been to China more than 30 times, who taught there, and then after Tiananmen Square had nothing but praise? Tiananmen Square was not something that we should be happy with China about afterwards. It's kind of disgusting and revolting, but he is the most liberal governor probably outside of Gavin Newsom. All right, so David said, a salutary reminder of what happens when National Socialists work together to get power. It says, it didn't start out with gas chambers. It started with one party controlling the media, one party controlling the message, one party deciding what is truth, one party censoring speech and silencing opposition, one party dividing citizens into us and them and calling their supporters to harass them. It started when good people turned a blind eye and let it happen. Does that sound like anything that's happening right now? I'm not alluding to things, but does it sound like it? Proud Army Brat posted this. To suggest we build a wall across our southern border because they're terrorists who are trying to invade the country couldn't be farther from the truth. Let's just listen to what these guys have to say. It's only a minute.
We don't need to build a wall. And by definition, just plain speak, basic English language definition, it is not an emergency.
You know, he talks about this wall. I always say, let me know how high it is. If it's 25 feet, then I'll invest in the 30-foot ladder.
To suggest that we have to build a wall across our southern border because there are terrorists who are trying to invade the country, it couldn't be farther from the truth. It couldn't be farther from the truth.
Out of the terror arrests across the country, we've learned several men with suspected ties to ISIS living in the U.S. have been taken into custody.
Sources familiar with the matter tell us the men crossed the southern border, some over a year ago.
Almost 100 people on the terrorist watch list were released into the U.S. by the Biden administration during a 3-year period.
Tonight, an alarming development in the border crisis. Among the record number of migrants crossing the southern border was a member of an Afghan terror organization.
But that's okay, right? We don't care about that. It's not like there's terrorists crossing the border. And it's good that we're not doing DNA testing to make sure that they aren't terrorists or people that we can track later on.
We are learning that under the Biden and Harris administration, the Border Patrol agents encountered at least 375 illegal migrants on the terror watch list.
I'm sorry, almost 400 people on our terror watch list. What happens next? Let's find out.
On the southern border, but what's more shocking is at least 99 of these individuals were actually released into American communities.
So we're releasing over a quarter of people on the terrorist watch list into the United States. What the fuck?
Includes at least 2,000 Afghan nationals, 33,000 Chinese nationals, 551 Iranian nationals, 520 Syrian nationals, and 3,000 Uzbek nationals.
To suggest that we have to build a wall across our southern border because there are terrorists who are trying to to invade the country. It couldn't be farther from the truth.
Oh, I guess it couldn't be farther from the truth, so we got nothing to worry about, guys. Isn't that good? All right. This is from a Gen Z. It says, never forget Kamala Harris said on camera she thinks 18 to 24-year-olds are stupid. We'll let this go real quick.
I wouldn't put my biggest support in someone that thinks I'm stupid, because that's what Kamala said. 18 to 24-year-olds are stupid. And Trump loves the youth. Gen Z loves Trump. And he's got the...
Not going to spend a lot of time on that one. It's kind of self-explanatory, but when you make statements, they come back to you later on. And that's probably why it's a good thing that Trump hasn't said that 18 to 24-year-olds are stupid and need to have their hands held. Make no mistakes, ladies and gentlemen, this is how we know that all the polls they're showing with Kamala's beating Trump are fake. I don't know about the fake, but you can do a lot of things to skew polls. You can take a sampling that's a little bit higher for Democrats. You can, again, and how many people actually answer polls, especially from the young generation? What's the percentage of blacks that answer polls? There's a lot of things that can skew polling data, especially if you want it to, without like really being blatant. So I think it's very important. But let's listen to what this young lady has to say.
But the conversation between Elon Musk and Trump is just wrapping up, and what did we learn? That Trump and Elon are having one of the most simple conversations, and everybody's acting like it's the end of the world. The EU sent...
This is the thing, guys. So now that we have X, X didn't exist when I voted for Joe Biden, right? Last time, or it did, but it was Twitter, and it was heavily censored, just like every other left-leaning social media platform, which is basically like 95% of how people communicate. Not to mention the liberal media itself. So I only got one side of the story, but now people are like, "Hey, wait! I listened to the interview." The first part was maybe boring because Trump was talking about himself and getting shot because, you know, when you get shot at within a month, you get a little freaked out and you might talk about it a lot. And he's not always the greatest communicator. I don't know if you guys know this. But what is all this? And let's just listen to her. So again, they're starting to realize, like, this doesn't match up. And because this doesn't match up, it makes me question everything. That's what's happening right now, especially amongst the youth that don't listen to traditional media, which is failing. So it's very enlightening.
Elon Musk a letter. Somebody broke into Trump's campaign office in Virginia. This is the email that Kamala's campaign sent out asking for your donation. The White House press corps was asking the White House to intervene. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how we know that all the polls that they are showing where Kamala is beating Trump are fake. I mean, let's just be honest.
Now, again, I don't know about that part, but I will agree that people are waking up and going, I don't believe all the things that I'm hearing right now. And that's an important thing to have happen, that realization. Peter Doocy reveals that the Vice President Kamala Harris ditched her press pool to avoid speaking to the media. So this is fascinating, too, because there was supposed to be this whole push towards cryptocurrency that was happening. And guess what, guys? She didn't even show up. Kamala Harris didn't even show up to this event. Most of it was pre-recorded messages from other people in the crypto community. The vast majority not even notable. And so that's how much she supports Bitcoin and crypto, guys. Because you have to remember, it's crypto for Harris, not Harris for crypto or Harris for Bitcoin. She wants the money. She doesn't even show up to the events. Listen to this, too.
And something new tonight. As the presumptive nominee, Vice President Harris is supposed to travel everywhere she goes with a protective press pool. We just learned that she left her press pool behind to attend an event at Howard University yesterday. We've reached out to her office. We are awaiting an answer back from them as to why she didn't want a small group of reporters.
I don't know, guys. Why would she not want a small group of reporters that are supposed to be friendly to her to attend liberal college event where she might say things that don't align with the message of her candidacy? Maybe that's it. I don't know. That's just me. It's just me thinking about it. All right. I mean, therefore I am said new Venezuelan gangs are gaining control in Colorado. Squatters are wreaking havoc on properties, and despite efforts by owners to get help from the police, FBI, and banks, nothing can be done due to the city's sanctuary status. Listen to this absurdity. There are Venezuelan gangs taking over the housing that we're supposed to be giving to immigrants in the state of Colorado, of all places. And there's nothing that can be done to help this situation. Nobody's helping these people. You have to listen to this.
Broke the story about these apartment buildings in Aurora. Colorado, right? Which have been taken over by Venezuelan gangs.
This is what we'll have more of because Kamala said that detention centers will be closed on day one and that she does not believe in borders. So just imagine another, imagine 30 to 40 million illegal immigrants that have entered this country over a period of 8 years. And if just fast forward to 2028 and think about what that looks like for the future of this country.
That basically have thrown out the tenants, and somebody moves in, they collect the rent, they walk around with guns, they trash the place, and the owners are stuck. They can't collect rent, they're getting foreclosed on, losing your homes.
Yeah, look at this. We're just going to jump through.
It's going to get foreclosed.
I have a better video, too, that actually shows a lot of the stuff going on there and shows a bunch of families that have been kicked out of their place. So we'll show that in a second. A reminder that Kamala Harris is an absolute fraud. Let's listen to Kamala Harris talk about policies in 2020 in regard to the border, and then let's listen to her messaging just in less than a year in 2021. Let's listen to how close these are to each other. Did they change a lot? Why did they change? Has she explained that change? I never hear her explain any changes that she makes, even though she's made vast ones.
A mother who pays a coyote to
can you guys tell me what a coyote is? I don't know what coyotes are.
Transport her child through their country of origin, through the entire country of Mexico, facing unknown peril to come here. Why would that mother do that? I will tell you. Because she has decided for that child to remain where they are is worse. But what does Donald Trump do? He says, go back to where you came from. That is not reflective of our America and our values, and it's got to end.
Oh, yeah, totally. I 100% agree. Now what do we say?
Be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come.
Come, guys.
And I believe
Trump doesn't want you to be here, even though you deserve it. You're doing all this dangerous stuff so you can have freedom, and this is great, yada, 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 and then do not come.
If you come to our border, you will be turned back.
You won't be. The next 3 years prove that.
A mother.
So again, this is just about her posturing and the fact that we don't actually know anything about Kamala Harris because it's all fabricated, which I think is appalling. John says, someone who helps people cross the border. I know, it was a joke. Sorry. I just thought coyote was whatever the hell she said was kind of funny. I know what a coyote is. Tassos, ma'am, lol. Yeah, just craziness. Now, Byron Donalds, let's listen to what he has to say about Kamala Harris. He said Kamala failed as border czar. We know she was the border czar. Biden said it. It's all over documentation, right? We've got it all over the media. Kamala wants $44 trillion for Medicare for all. Yes, that's true. That's a real thing. This is a part of one of the plans that she wanted to pass. On top of not wanting just $1 trillion in the last government spending bill for Build Back Better, Kamala wanted $4 trillion. So if you think inflation's been crazy, man, this woman will set it into overdrive. And not even, I'm just going to skip this ad. I don't want people to get kicked. Not only is that insane, but she wants a $44 trillion Medicare for all plan. That's what it would be over a certain period of time, and $100 trillion Green New Deal. The Green New Deal that they wanted to get through in this current presidency that they just did not have any support over. It wasn't the right climate for it. Had things like removing air travel from the United States internally by 2030. So you wouldn't be able to fly from city to city. Doesn't that sound great? Isn't that what everybody wants? You'd have to take buses or trains, other things. You'd also be like losing red meat. We'd start taking cows out of farms. We do all these things that you're seeing over in Europe that have worked so well for their countries. And she wants to do that same stuff. So she wanted higher taxes. She went after, they were adding a bunch of IRS agents so that they could partially go after people that are getting tipped. Now they've completely reversed all of that. And these, again, are other policies where they wanted to raise taxes. They wanted to get to 40% capital gains tax. They want to tax unrealized, where you haven't sold anything. But that's their way of going after the rich and people like Elon Musk. Isn't that absurdity? And let's listen to I don't know what this guy, so much vulgarity coming out of this micro to macro guy. It's appalling. But let's listen to his view on Tim Walz. This is Tim Walz, little heavier, not looking too good. But this is him years ago, in 2004. Let's listen to what he has to say about his service fighting overseas, which never happened. Let's just listen to it.
And both of you, with your keen...
Because the mainstream media would have you think that this was just a one-off conversation and that it's being spun out of context. But this man, for over 20 years, has been lying to help promote himself to a higher position in the public eye so that he can get elected and maintain his position. So this is relevant.
Understanding of how this works, especially from National Guard families. I can tell you this, having been one of those that came back, we were in support of OEF, but sitting in there with OIF veterans. When
he didn't come back from anywhere.
Came back, they showed us the horse whisperer and told us to be nice when we went home. And that was the extent.
He didn't come home. He never left.
Of it. That was in 2004. Now, I'm proud to say that because of the people sitting in here and people who came before me, things have changed over the last 4 years.
Again, we don't need to see more, but the whole coming back, he's alluding to the fact that he served and was deployed overseas. This is a supercut from Dustin Grage. It says here 2.5 minutes straight of Governor Tim Walz falsely claiming his rank, command sergeant major. This is important too. Hey, John Mars, thank you, man. I don't know how much that is, if that's euros or what it is, but everything is appreciated, dude. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Let's see what Sarah has to say real quick before I play this video. Or Bustafam. People that help them get across. Oh, that was that other one. Sarah, people need to come to America legally. My husband came here legally as an Armenian immigrant at the age of 9. He didn't speak English. Easy policies lead to an overrun of our system. We just have to be able to support it financially too. And we're already looking at tens of billions of dollars that have had to be spent just to support the people that are here, that we haven't even figured out where we're going to place everybody. Rent prices are going up. Housing prices will go up because you can't have an influx in demand in these things and not have those kind of problems. I 100% agree with you, Sarah. Maytag says, Tesla getting some nice upward. Yeah, the markets are going to do great. Tesla's up 4%. Yada. I like making money. If people don't know who I am, if you're new here, I focus on economics. I focus on macro, like political stuff going on around the world. I focus on fundamentals and financials for investments, and then I focus on technical analysis too. I try to have a well-rounded approach where I'm looking at everything from all avenues so that I can make good investment decisions. But as of late, I guess I'm a political commentary person. So fun. But again, when your wealth, when the future of your nation, when the potential for just free speech going away is potentially impacted, you have to stand up, and that's what I'm here to do. Let's see what John had to say here with that tip. He said, Jesse, thanks for everything you do. This political videos you do are very important nowadays. Regards from Ibiza, Spain, where we're having the same problem as the UK and US with immigration. I actually feel worse for you guys, John, because the radical Islam part is the most dangerous with illegal immigration. We're lucky in the United States for the most part because the majority, not all, like maybe 60%, 65%, are coming from countries where they have Christian beliefs and they're similar to us. But when you have like radical Islam and you have people that believe that dogs are haram and that women shouldn't have a right to speak, they should have their faces veiled, they're like property that can't be touched by other people that don't own the property. Just like really dramatic different views. And I'm not saying this about everybody. I'm talking about more radicalized people, ones that in Iran are trying to finalize in parliament the ability to be able to buy a wife that's 6 years old and do whatever you want to with her. I'm personally very opposed to those kind of beliefs. Maybe it's because I have a 10-year-old daughter and I don't want her to live in a world where she is meat. Liberals used to believe in these things. I am a centrist. I voted for Joe Biden. I'm a feminist. I want women to not be beat up by men in boxing rings and then have something they've worked for potentially most of their life taken away from them by a man and then have people not be able to talk back to that. I want people to be able to say that, criticize their government, criticize people like Tim Walz for being a liar. Without the government coming with their heavy hand upon them. Let's listen real quick here. And we're going to get to the Trump part in a little bit. There's a lot of really good things happening, a lot of really good positive messaging and polling data, and I want to talk to it. But first, let's listen to Tim here.
One of those everyday people. Coach to the state champs. Teacher of the year. Command Sergeant Major.
I am a retired Command Sergeant Major in the Minnesota National Guard.
I am a retired Sergeant Major in the Army National Guard. What I consider to be the responsibility and the privilege of being the highest ranking enlisted personnel ever to
Not true.
serve in Congress.
Because it would be true if he did actually serve overseas when the Iraq War started, but he didn't. He found out ahead of time that it was that they were going to be deployed. Even his own boss says this. A higher-ranking official that literally was his boss said, no, we all knew ahead of time that deployment was coming, and he retired, which is okay. That part's okay, right? But stealing valor and trying for political gain and trying to talk like you're something higher than you were and talk like you were deployed overseas is not something a lot of people in the military like. I can tell you that much.
And the
good.
Democrats.
What rank was that?
Command Sergeant Major.
So when you first came to
And he just keeps saying it over and over again, over and over and over.
Washington,
we don't need to listen to all of it. It's the same. It just keeps going on. He just lies about his rank over and over again. This is the stuff from somebody who's a wannabe macroeconomist, and I think better than a lot of the existing ones that are out there that went to schooling for it for 10, 12 more years. This is what frightens me. It's price controls. It's what she's saying right here. And let's just listen real fast.
We believe in a future where we lower the cost of living for America's families so that they have a chance not just to get by, but to get ahead. Because while our economy is doing well by many measures, prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. You know it and I know it. You know, when I was Attorney General, I went after price-fixing schemes. And when I am president, it will be a day one priority.
This is a nightmare. This is a nightmare.
To fight to bring down prices, I will take...
You can't do that. You can't assume that all these companies are price fixing. It's a free market. It's what has made this country so successful over the last several years. Is capitalism. People can invest in companies. The companies do well. They benefit. And the companies they're competing against each other, right? So you have companies where if they don't provide the lowest price with the right balance of quality and something that people really, really want, then they lose and they fail. Right? So there's companies out there competing against each other already. The second you implement price controls, it throws off the entire market. It creates a reduction. We know this from every socialist collapse throughout history, and they're everywhere. You end up creating problems where the market, that you have less supply of particular goods because you've made it where they can't be profitable. And so market players drop out and you actually reduce the amount of supply that's available for whatever the said good is that you were trying to control the prices over. Well, that creates more problems because those people kind of have a monopoly over it. So the government has to offset all those costs. They can't just fight the companies going against it. So it ends up being just a massive inflationary issue. And we've seen this over and over again. There's a reason Argentina is not greater than the United States. They could have been. But then they turned towards socialism. There's a reason why Venezuela destroyed their economy in a period of 27 years. They went from one of the richest countries in Central and South America to the poorest. And this just replays itself over and over and over and over again throughout history, not just on this continent, but all around the world. So this is dumb. This is frightening. This is the stuff that scares me. The fact that this woman is economically retarded. This bothers me a lot. And again, there's been a lot of back and forth about this. Now Google's taking responsibility, saying that it was their bug that was pro-Kamala in altering the sponsorships to make it, or altering the headlines to make it look like there is affiliation to these different news organizations, and they were like condoning or saying we support this. So, but it's weird because this stuff keeps happening. And again, I did my video with Kamala. I'll probably, since this one's kind of Kamala centrist, we'll see how well this one does. I do have Trump's name in it, so it's probably going to get demonetized. But again, my first four videos demonetized because they had Trump. Then the next one is pro-Kamala, pro-communism, and pro-censorship of speech in the United States, while cussing like a sailor. Didn't have any issues with monetization whatsoever. And we just keep seeing these problems, again, within companies like Google, some of the biggest contributors to the Democratic campaigns over the years. All right, let me see here what else we got. Jesse, are you not worried at all that there's electoral college who decides POTUS and not popular vote? No, that actually ends up working to our benefit. Popular vote, you have more people in cities, and so you would actually see Trump definitely lose if we had popular vote. So it's actually the exact opposite of that, Justin. Be happy there is an electoral college that helps give people in jurisdictions that are in states that are smaller a voice. So praise that. Don't worry about it. Sarah, failed foreign policy with the H rebels caused ships to drive around Africa for months, disrupting shipping lanes, causing high prices. That's part of it. It was also, Sarah, to be clear, printing 40% of the money supply over a period of 4 years, both from Trump and Biden, is the hugest part of it. In regard to inflation, there were a lot of other stupid decisions too. Locking down was probably the worst. But again, all of the liberal left and all of the messaging we were receiving, because they were the only people in power on social media, and censoring a bunch of other voices, people like Harvard grads and people that are experts in their fields for genetics or genomics, were censored by the government secretly. We know that from the Twitter files, right? So it's very clear that that's true. But that all that stuff, the lockdowns and everything, led to inflation issues too. Just a lot of stupidity that's been done over the years, and it's coming from one side, the side I voted for last time. All right, Tezos, I think that's right, Tassos, whatever. Exactly. Then why don't you decrease prices now if you can? Yes, exactly, dude. So this person who's in power is telling us about all the things she's going to do when she's elected, when in fact she should have the ability to have done those things already. It lets you know they won't happen. Just like in the crypto world, they said that they would implement policies after the election to try and be supportive of the crypto world. And then if you listen to Chuck Schumer, he literally said that they're going to do the same thing they're doing now, that they'll find a balance between regulation to protect consumers, that's Elizabeth Warren, and trying to help foster crypto. And they never said Bitcoin once, because they don't know what Bitcoin is. All right. JJ the Savage, that Google bug is wild. Yeah, it's wild that they keep having bugs that are biased towards liberal politicians and against Trump. Isn't it wild? Low Speed, how is it possible that you have 15,000 down votes and only 40 up votes? How is it possible you have... I'm not sure what you're talking about. Is that on the channel? That sounds like a lot. Maytag, the Electoral College was genius on the part of the founders to avoid a small number of large population states picking the president for all the rest. Exactly, Maytag. You know what you're talking about. All right, so Governor Tim Walz, J.D. Vance, going to Yale University. This is funny. So it says none. So this is a little speech. Listen to what Tim Walz has to say. This was initially right after J.D. Vance. Just an attack against J.D. Vance. You got to remember, this is the same guy that started, Republicans are weird. We don't want to fight them on policy. We'll just call them weird, and then everybody will repeat that narrative.
Guys are just weird, and it's, they're.
Oh, okay. Thanks, man. I don't know. I only started this channel at the beginning of the year, so I think it's pretty good. I actually didn't even have. So weirdly, last year in about February or March, I had like 200 followers on X. Now I have about 61,000. And I grew that from talking about economics and talking about investing. And it helps that I made 700% returns in 2023. I'm down this year just because a lot of the stuff I'm doing is asymmetric. But like Tesla's up 5% today, so that's not going to be happening for long. But yeah, so I've grown a lot. And so I think 15,000 is actually pretty good. But here, let's listen to Tim Walz.
Running for He-Man Women Haters Club or something. That's what they go at. That's not what people are interested in. And there is angst because robber barons like J.D. Vance and Donald Trump.
Oh, he's a robber baron. Democrats love to play this. Did you know the majority of rich billionaires in tech are Democrats and contribute to the Democratic campaign? So when you think, and honestly, that same rule applies for Democrats in general. So when you think about robber barons, remember where that most applies.
Gutted the Midwest, told us we didn't do that. They talk about private schools. Where in the heck are you going to find a private school in a town of 400? Those are public schools. Those are great teachers that are out there making a difference and gave us an opportunity to succeed. That angst that J.D. Vance talks about in Hillbilly Elegy, none of my hillbilly cousins went to Yale, and none of them went on to be venture capitalists or whatever. So
he's trying to make it look like, again, the right are elites, right? They're elites who are trying to control you. They're rich and powerful, and that J.D. Vance is one of these rich and powerful people that went to a Ivy League university. Walz enrolled into Harvard University teaching program abroad in China, like I was talking about before. So this man who's trying to make it look like he's the down-to-earth dude literally went to a communist country, a bunch, taught there for ages, did it during the times of Tiananmen Square, and then didn't give a shit about any of that, any of the stuff that was happening, and has supported China ever since. He loves China. He loves communism. So it's just fascinating that he tries to portray this image of J.D. Vance being an elite when he is an elite who loves the World Economic Forum and Davos. It's just ironic, I think. Nothing to see here. Just Kamala Harris casting the deciding vote to tax the hell out of tips. Let's look at this one, guys.
The yeas are 50, the nays are 50. The Senate being equally divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative, and the bill, as amended, is passed.
All right, I don't want to play much more of that music, but here you go. She was the deciding vote for going after tips, and she went for it, guys. This is the same woman who's against tips now. Now, this is something that scares me. So this says she's a commie. What is this? This is Michigan's Democratic AG who threatened to prosecute women over misleading social media posts. So look this up. You can dig into the details more. But what frightens me is we're already seeing craziness in the UK. We're already seeing the guy who beat up a bunch of girls in boxing to get a gold medal suing from France that both J.K. Rowling and Elon Musk, and trying to get them in prison for up to 5 years because of their commentary about his boxing. So we're seeing freedom of speech around the world going away. And now we have in the United States of America, in Michigan, of all places, I mean, that's appropriate with Ilhan Omar there. And I'm sorry, she's Minnesota. Let's backtrack. But anyway, ignore that comment. But it's just frightening that we're looking to doing stuff like this in this country. This is frightening to me. This shouldn't be the way it is. And if we have 4 years of Kamala Harris, this is what's going to come, guys. It just is what it is. Let me get caught up with comments again real quick. And thank you guys for everything. All right, so let's see. Jesse. Oh, no, we already talked about that. Sarah, we talked about. JJ the Savage, the bug. Yep. Maytag, yep. JJ Savage, low speed, 15,000 subscribers, not downvotes. Michael Krause. Hey, Maytag nailed it. Pure democracy leads to tyranny. Yep, it can. I refreshed the page now. It's showing up 41 upvotes and 0 downvotes. Weird. Alfredo Hernandez. I want to sell my Google position at so freaking bad. I would, dude. I think that company's dying. I'm not going to go into that here, but they're dying. Their search is going to go away, and their YouTube, which I'm on right now, might go away in the future too. Because I can tell you. I want to support YouTube and Google if they do the right things. If they don't, then I want to support X and other platforms. They just aren't as good yet, but they're coming. All right, so this says, holy shib, California sheriff featured in Kamala Harris campaign video is upset his image was used. I do not support her. He said, looking for someone who's going to support criminal justice and law enforcement that is best represented by Donald Trump, not Kamala Harris. So again, you got these guys. Kamala Harris's campaign is paying influencers tens of thousands of dollars. It depends on what they're doing. They're paying them thousands of dollars for anti-Trump material, even though they don't know anything. And they're giving them ideas of what they can do for anti-Trump material. And then they're also paying people to promote her campaigns and to try and get it to where she could do her quick little blurbs on their channel if they have a lot of influencers. It's not organic in any way. I feel like it should be illegal. And then you have her using people that in her videos that don't support her. This is insanity.
General. And I can tell you that this ad is deceiving, to say the least. I remember this particular case where we did a drug cartel or a drug trafficking organization where we worked with DEA. And the issue was that in this particular situation, she showed up for a soundbite. She didn't shake anyone's hands, and she quickly left the briefing room. So for me in law enforcement to see my face and image along with my law enforcement counterparts being represented as standing alongside Kamala Harris was truly disheartening. We do not support.
All right, enough said. Real quickly. Let's see, we got a question down here, a couple of them. Let's answer it. Pab. Thanks, Jesse. Got to get into the market. We'll finish watching later. Thanks. Yeah, cool, man. Chicken Bro, have you considered doing the market recap streams on Rumble for a change? I'm actually probably going to start triple streaming, but I got to figure out how to set it all up. There's a little bit of technical stuff with it. I'm going to probably start streaming to X. Their tools just sucked, so I'm going to see if they're better. They were just, again, there's so many things that X is trying to do after firing over 80% of their employees. They've done a great job. The latest Grok 2.0 is sick. I love this platform. Over 18 million new monthly active users. The mainstream media would have you think it's dead when it's just being born, but I want the tools to be better, so I'll check them again. I'll probably just just keep trying to test all these tools. I'll test Rumble and see if I can stream to that using the platform that I'm using with OBS. And I'll also check X, and I'll see how they work and see if I can start streaming. And if the tools get remotely usable, I'm just going to start doing that. I'll triple stream if I can to all of them so that you guys can use the platforms that you like. So yes, I will do that because again, I want to support what's right in America, not what's wrong. Justin, I can't wait for the debates. If she doesn't find a way to weasel her way out of them, she's not even doing, in the next 2 weeks, guys, Kamala Harris only plans on doing one interview and then the Democratic National Convention. I've been watching people on CNN who are getting pissed that she's not doing interviews. I love that. I love the fact that her own party, whether it's from protests from pro-Palestine crowd, are going after her. I love that CNN liberals and commentators are saying this is stupid. She needs to speak to us. We need to know her policies. She needs to be accountable for them. She needs to be able to take criticism. All the things she does not want to do. So I just find this fascinating. This again right here is the conversation, the leaked government memo confirming that the Homeland Security, these whistleblowers from Homeland Security were targeted by the Border Patrol Agency after exposing that federal DNA collection was not allowed for immigration violations. It's a great video. It's 10 minutes long. I'm not going to go into it. But again, it just speaks to some of the details. Let me see what else we have here. Kevin O'Leary roasts Tim Walz, stating that he is the best governor for Texas, for Florida, for North and South Dakota, but not for Minnesota. I don't even know why I said Texas, but again, you're seeing more support behind Trump, clear support behind Trump that didn't exist before. I do want to do something. I'm going to jump into polls, and then we're going to go to the Trump side. Okay, so let's look at some data real quick here on the polling side. Lots of interesting stuff. So you're going to see Kamala Harris up 0.9. Oh my God, guys, she's winning. Now, the thing to remember is the most accurate reporting, at least from the ones that go on realclearpolitics.com, a site that I've been using for over 20 years to decide who's going to win and lose at presidential elections, and one I've been 100% right on the entire time. Again, I thought Biden was going to win last time. He did that. I thought Trump was going to win before that. He did that. I thought Clinton was going to win. I thought all these people were going to win, and they win, and it's partially because of this. But Rasmussen is the most accurate one from a reporting standpoint, and it actually leans a little bit left. That's how they're able to ensure that they get their accuracy. So keep in mind, Rasmussen leans left, and their last poll from 8-1 to 8-7. So again, we're going to get another weekly poll probably coming up here soon. A series of polls should be interesting. Showed Trump up by 5 points. Now, why is that fascinating? Okay, let's backtrack from that. So that's good. If we believe in Rasmussen reporting, which we should based upon historical evidence, that's good, right? It's got Trump leading by 5. We want to see that. Now, that's not the most important thing, though. The most important thing is right here. It says this day in history, August 15th of 2020, Biden was up by 7.9 points. 7 points more than Harris is right now at this time in history during that election cycle. And in August 15th of 2016, Clinton was up by 6.8. And she lost. So there's roughly a 6 to 7 point lead right now for Donald Trump against Kamala Harris. And this is not something you're going to hear from mainstream media. There's also a bunch of state elections that are getting really interesting. But I just wanted to throw this out here. I want you guys to think about this and stew on this. She's actually at a major deficit compared to where she should be right now in this election cycle. So think about that, okay? Think about that. That's definitely important. That's something you want to think about. All right. So a couple things. There's new policy, very specific policy changes. Jersey Boy, thank you for joining, man. Really appreciate you. Thank you for supporting me, guys. Everybody who supports me on here, I'm likely to get demonetized because I'm saying pro-Trump things. So every little bit helps. Anyway, MG Truth Ultra, obviously a liberal Democrat. I'm kidding. Says Trump announces that he will slash all electricity costs by 50 to 70% in 12 to 18 months. He's going to do things like open up pipelines that are underground, pipelines that have low risk of causing issues with I should say environmental, like oil spills, all this other stuff. I actually am very pro-environmental. I do believe in climate change. I think it's just a lot slower than people talk to. I have an Elon Musk approach when it comes to this stuff. So I'm liberal when it comes to this. But let's listen to what Trump has to say about how he's going to drop energy costs, at least electricity, by 50 to 70%. And this is important. If we drop electricity costs, these are base costs for all goods and services. This helps keep inflation down in a good way, where you could potentially still do money printing while you figure out where you can find efficiencies in the governments while seeing inflation come down, but in a good way. So let's listen to it.
The United States will commit to the ambitious goal of slashing energy and electricity prices by half, at least half.
12 to 18 months, this man's telling you he's going to cut your electricity bill by half.
We intend to slash prices by half within 12 months, at a maximum 18 months. And if it doesn't work out, you'll say, oh, well, I voted for him. I still got him down a lot, but we're looking to do it.
I love that he's not guaranteeing it, but he's saying this is what we're going to try and do, and we're going to work hard for it. And then you can see how the results play out and judge me.
Cut them in half, and we think we'll be able to do better. And every single thing that I promised, I produced. Every single thing.
And whether you like him or not, that's pretty accurate. Most Democrats, and again, I was on the other side, so I can attest to this, hate him because he was so effective at getting what he wanted. And that Steve Harvey video I'm going to make is shocking. I'm going to be doing this in a little bit here after this video. It will blow your mind what happened with that, and Steve Harvey's thoughts on the black community after he didn't even try to show support initially towards Trump, but it's crazy. Now, Cam, you said about the lines. Yeah, it is. This is anecdotal, though. It's kind of hard to judge lines, but this is pretty crazy. This is in Nashville, a liberal city. And you can see the Trump lines are pretty big. But again, it's kind of anecdotal, and I don't care about crowd sizes at all. I care about data. I care about policies. That's where I want to focus things. That's where I hope the Trump administration is pushing towards, because we're not getting policies out of Kamala. So let's show our policies on this side, which I think are great. I think being a leading energy producer in the world is a great thing for the United States. It will enrich us. And then all the other policies where he's pro-innovation, pro-supporting Elon Musk, where Biden has done everything he can to hate on Elon Musk. And I think that only gets worse after the election if Kamala wins, guys, because they will go after X for free speech. If you use this platform, whether you're on the right or left, if you like it for the free speech and clear messaging that you get and validation through things like community notes, you better support Trump, because otherwise, if you believe in crypto and Bitcoin, you better support Trump. If you believe in Tesla, you better support Trump. They're going after all of them if they win, guys. So Florida, this is great. Political poll says that Trump is winning by he's got 50% of the vote, up 3 points, up 2 points if we throw Kennedy into the race. I still believe, and you guys could quote me right now, I think Kennedy in the 11th hour will switch to Trump so that he can be a part of the cabinet. There was rumor that Kennedy was going to work with Kamala Harris. He said that it would be against everything I believe in and that my father fought for, or that my family has fought for throughout the history of the Democratic Party. So he will not. He said that Kamala in no way represents the beliefs of the Democratic Party of old, and so he will in no way support that. This is fascinating, guys. So this is The View. Do you guys like The View? Do you guys love The View? A bunch of ladies railing on Republicans and talking about things. Anyway, this is what The View used to be look like. Back. You just got to watch this. This is crazy. This is crazy. Watch how they treated Donald Trump on The View years ago before he became the president of the United States. Watch this.
Hey, everybody used to like Trump. Like the show. You ever seen like videos of Trump on The View with Barbara Walters back when they liked him? You ever seen that?
Yes, but I can't remember what you're referring to.
You should see it because it's bonkers. This is it. Watch this. This is bonkers. Go full screen. This is literally bonkers.
Real estate mogul and a television star. But does he really want to add president of the United States to his resume? A lot of people would like him to. Please, let's find out. And please
I'm still going to say Whoopi doesn't look thrilled here, but let's see.
welcome my friend, Donald Trump.
My friend.
My friend. Watch this. Just watch this. This is nuts. We're in an alternative universe. Okay? Because this is not that long ago.
Go standing.
Dylan, I 100% agree that that's what Trump will do. He'll end up saying Robert F. Kennedy will do. He'll end up saying, guys, if you believe in everything I believe in, I'll be on this. I'll work to be in the government with Trump. Vote for him. I'm pushing my support to him. He wants there to be three parties, and I get it. I used to be very much pro that. I used to be all about that, guys. But I've seen my vote not work out and end up putting other people in power that did more harm for this country than good. And again, if you want to see what a multi-party system looks like, look at the UK. There's a ton of parties. How well is it going for them?
Bro, watch this. Just watch how this goes. Watch this.
This is insane.
So she's a Republican. That's easy.
Kissed him and hugged him.
But everybody else.
Hugs.
Look at Joy. Can't wait to get a hug in.
Yeah, everyone's hugging. Look at this. Look at this. Kisses, hugs, kisses to Whoopi. Everybody hugs and kisses. Even Joy.
Oh, sorry. Let me go back. I didn't mean to do that.
Trump.
One sec.
Wealthiest.
I'll get back. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about screwing that up.
Everyone's hugging. Look at this. Look at this. Kisses, hugs, kisses to Whoopi. Everybody hugs and kisses. Even Joy Behar hugs and kisses.
Even Joy Behar hugs and kisses.
See? Now watch this.
So I'm going to take you at your word that you have not decided yet when you're going to run, but you're thinking about it and you've expressed some of your views, which are controversial and in many ways, but not to her. Well, not to her. Okay, you're a Republican, so, but let's say that you do decide in the spring, right? And your ideas resonate so much. On the other hand, we saw Newt Gingrich apologizing for his marriages and divorce.
Anyway, the interview is actually so civil, it's shocking. So if you watch The View now, he would probably get egged and maybe shot at again. It's just such a different world that we've jumped into. So I wanted to show that just how civil it was back then. It's just nuts. Now, 2024 national GE here, it says that I believe among independents, it says that there's an 8-point lead. Is GE Georgia? Can you guys tell me what state is GE? Yeah, Georgia. Okay, that's what I thought. I'm tripping a little bit, but I wanted to make sure. So this is a Fox News poll. This is RV, so that doesn't mean likely voters. It means like a broader polling. LV is likely voters. I like those polls better. And again, this is Fox News. But so far, showing a strong lead for Trump within Georgia. All right, let's see. Jason DeBolt. The left is like, I used to fight with this guy all the time because he's really conservative and he likes people like Andrew Tate, but it's just so weird to see this. The left is like, Elon is manipulating the algorithm, and Elon responds with, the algorithm is open source. You can look at the code yourself. Oh, let's see. We got a community note. Let's see what it says, guys. The algorithm was open source, but hasn't been updated since July of so the open sourcing doesn't show any changes in the last year. They're saying there's numerous undocumented updates have occurred. Crucial elements were withheld, hindering full verification. So they're saying, hey, they need to open source it again. I don't actually think it works that way from having a software background, but we'll give it a chance. General election, Georgia is GA. Oh, okay, so that's the broader. Thank you, Krause. Appreciate you, man. That makes more sense. I thought GE sounded wrong. So that was general election. So the broader election, it showed Trump up by 8 points. Thank you for that, sir. All right, let's look at this. This is Trump last night in Asheville, North Carolina. I don't know, guys. I think he's getting energized. Check this out. Tell me what you think, your opinion about it. Throw it in chat. But I think this is just starting to fire up.
Together we will deliver low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest rates, low inflation, so that everyone can afford groceries, a car, and a home. Common sense. We will stop the invasion end the migrant crime, support our great police, save Medicare, and save Social Security, which is under siege. We will strengthen our military, build a missile defense shield, keep critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools, and keep men out of women's sports.
I don't know, guys. This is starting to get pretty interesting. There's a lot more to this. Again, take a look. I post all this stuff and retweet it. But the messaging behind Trump is getting more powerful by the day. And you know what? Maybe we should finish this. There's still time to go here. This is only halfway through. Let's give him a chance.
We will defend the Second Amendment, restore free speech, and we will secure our elections.
Shouldn't we be doing that? I haven't found one liberal that can justify to me why we shouldn't be using paper ballots after finding out that Dominions can connect wirelessly to the internet and can be hacked. I don't understand why we don't have a national day that's a holiday where everybody can have off, even, you know, people in industrial, manufacturing, service-related sector, to be able to vote together. And then ensure that with a driver's license and with paper ballots that we have free and fair elections. Why in a day and age when everything can be hacked and there's accusations about literally everybody in America having their social security numbers and data hacked under Biden's watch, would we want elections that can be easily manipulated? PayPal's rocketing. It's doing pretty good. Tesla's up 5.2. Guys, we're going to make a lot of money here soon. I've been saying it for a while, but that's not the point of this. So we're going to move on. But yeah, but Trump is on fire here. And the thing that I like is he's not rambling on, which he does. I like the fact that the messaging is getting better with this man.
Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity, hope, and joy. But for that to happen, we must never let Kamala Harris get anywhere near the White House, and we must defeat her country-destroying liberal agenda. She destroyed San Francisco. She's not going to destroy our country. So get your friends, get your family, register, volunteer, and get the hell out and vote. You got to vote.
I'm sorry. It's just really good. There's a little more to it, but like, again, it's positive messaging. It's pointing out differences. It's clear policy. It's really, really good. All right. So questions. All right. So Dylan, man, even Singapore doesn't have a free public holiday during elections. They just do it on a Saturday. You know what's crazy? Puerto Rico has probably a way better election system than the entirety of the United States, even though they're not a state. How insane is that? They have paper ballots. They require IDs. What is going on? Anyway, Tired Gang said, what about blockchain voting? Thoughts? I actually think that's brilliant. It would have to be on something very secure, though. It would have to be like Bitcoin. It would have to be like a lightning network type thing with verification on the Bitcoin network. But even then, the communication between the voting result, it would just have to, there's a lot of work to get there. We need to use paper ballots probably for a long time until we figure out all the technicalities behind it. But I do like that eventually. This is Trump holding no bars here. I don't even know if I could play this. He said basically, with the equipment that was left behind for the Taliban that they just had on display recently and showing how wonderful it is, how they have all this weaponry that we gave them. He basically said, I knew Milley was an effing idiot when he said that it was smarter to leave all of our equipment behind in Afghanistan than bring it back. He's like, I'm sorry, put some fuel in it, move it out, because some of these things we're leaving behind are not cheap. And shouldn't be in the hands of people that are bad. So I'm not going to play that since he uses the F word. I don't want to give, not that I don't do that, but I'm trying to get better so I don't leave YouTube with the ability to easily demonetize me in the future. So we're trying to cut back. Plus, I know some people can get offended, even though I don't. All right, Kyle Becker, massive win for the Fourth Amendment. Jung Ho has ruled that geofencing surveillance, this is good. This is good for if you're a Republican or a conservative or believe in freedom, this is good. It says, has ruled that geofencing surveillance method used to track January 6ers and other Americans is unconstitutional. The federal 5th District or Circuit Court of Appeals held in its opinion that geofencing warrants are categorically prohibited by the 4th Amendment, basically using these guys' cell phones to be able to track them. It's dangerous, slippery slope. Anyway, you could read the whole thing, but it's great that this ruling happened. This means that the government doesn't have even more oversight over us. This is wonderful. This is funny. So this is on Stephen Colbert's show. Liberal. He's got one of the commentators or interviewers from CNN. And listen to this. This is so funny. I love this so much. This is an audience on a liberal show, and this is their opinion about CNN. This is why CNN's ratings have plummeted and why they've been cut by more than half in the last 4 years.
Trump has kind of been thrown on his heels by this, and he's not really sure how to go after Vice President Harris. He knew his attack lines on President Biden. He really has struggled with how to go after someone who's 20 years younger than him, who is a different gender, a different race. It's kind of been this moment where he has not been able to coalesce around a single attack line.
I know you guys are objective over there, that you just report the news as it is.
Oh, I know. CNN makes a... I know. That's supposed to be a laugh line?
I wasn't supposed to be, but...
Isn't that funny? On his own show, everybody laughs about the objectiveness of CNN. On a liberal show, they laugh. All right, so, a couple things. Stocks intake. All right, so let's see. Let's start with you. You said, North Carolina, so beautiful out there. Common sense. When is the Kamala Trump debate? So Kamala has refused to do the debate on Fox News, last I heard. So she doesn't want to be on a place where there's any opposition whatsoever. Isn't that scary? Somebody who wants to be the president of the United States doesn't want anybody to say mean things to her. Isn't that frightening? How do you think Xi? How do you think Xi? How do you think Putin? How do you think Kim Jong-un? How do you think that Iranian terrorists and the heads of Tehran? How do you think they're gonna feel in regard to Kamala Harris if she's too scared just to talk to Fox News? I don't think that's gonna work out great. So yeah, I think you're talking about like the ABC or whatever debate. We've got to do it on her terms, guys, because if we don't do it on her terms, she's frightened. So we can't have that. We don't want to bully her with questions that she might be uncomfortable with. That's America. That's America under the left. We can't ask questions that are uncomfortable, and we have to do things like for this boxer who beats the shit out of women. We have to do things for him because he represents the 0.0001% of society. Everything needs to be grafted towards him and not towards common sense and not towards actual science that tells us about X, Y, and XX chromosomes, right? We have to instead avoid science and then just look at everything through the lens of the 0.001% so that we can destroy our society. Isn't that wonderful? Let's listen to Ben Carson. Ben Carson is going to be a topic of conversation in the video that I have with Steve Harvey, and you guys got to watch it. It's so good. It talks about the black community a lot and what they did to him. It's really good, but this is Ben Carson talking about the things that will come up in this other video about the things they did for the black community. And again, there's a shift happening and people aren't seeing it, but this is important. Let's listen.
You know, you talk about the Trump administration before this administration. It was amazing. You know, the opportunity zones, $75 billion of money brought in from the private sector into depressed communities, mostly minority communities, lifted 1 million people out of poverty, provided incredible opportunities, you know, HBCUs. Every time we started talking about HBCUs, President Trump's ears would perk up. And, you know, he established a pipeline so that they don't have to come and beg every year. That's incredible. The justice system, the inequality of the sentencing, all these things, they were dealt with.
So Trump gave black people who are like 90% likely to vote for Democrats, he gave them more in 4 years than they've gotten from the Democratic Party in at least the last 30 or 40, right? So it's nuts. 1 million people brought out of poverty during his time, $75 billion in government funding trying to help black communities. And this Steve Harvey video will speak to a lot of that in more detail, and it gives you a good idea of how Trump works, which is insane. How Trump works is insane. but effective and awesome. So you'll see that later. I pointed out that Donald Trump gained 1 million followers in less than 24 hours after they did their video, their election video, or I should say kind of during that time where they did their first post and then they did the video. 1 million followers in 24 hours. You can tell that Trump and Elon are building a union here. And I was actually speaking to that a little bit yesterday. So imagine what the world looks like if Elon Musk is on an efficiency commission that Donald Trump was praising him for. He's like, you fired 80% of X, and it's a better platform than it was before by far. This is nuts. Like, yes, we need to have this commission where you're a part of it. And imagine what happens if Elon Musk gets a hold of the federal government. Imagine the efficiencies that are created with that. And imagine just how much deregulation. That's another video I'm probably going to be working on here too. It's a conversation between Vivek Ramaswamy. I'll probably try and get that out today, maybe tomorrow. Vivek Ramaswamy and Balaji, two absolutely some of the most brilliant people on this earth right now. And they're talking about regulation within the medical sector and just regulation as a whole and what can be done to correct it. And Vivek indicates his dissatisfaction with Balaji for not working to help at the SEC and FDA to help fix these problems in the last one. But Balaji says, hey, the environment wasn't right for it. Here's why it's right now. It's an amazing video that I'm going to be doing and kind of reacting to. But there's so much deregulation, I think, that's coming when Trump wins. So much efficiency gain. It's going to be shocking. And then again, if you're a Tesla shareholder, you will benefit from the relationship these two have with each other. If you're somebody who's into Bitcoin and crypto, you know who the party is that supports you right now. It's not the crypto conversation that was supposed to be so big and show that Democrats were in support of crypto, where Kamala didn't even show up. It's not that party, guys. All right, so Donald Trump, his space on X with Elon Musk, it was one of the most successful shows ever done. You know how Trump gets. We had a great chat for 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours being grilled by Elon, not necessarily grilled. We had a good time. We talked about something. We love our country. And they do. They love the country. Look at this. The Rabbit Hole posted, the legacy media doesn't have time to report meaningful data because they're busy generating fake oppression narratives. Look at this. Look at this. And so we don't see any opposing community notes to this. Let's look under the actual article. No opposing community notes. What does this say? Yearly mentions of prejudice in popular U.S. news media outlets. Did racism start in 2010? Did it start in 2010, guys? Tell me. Did it? What is this? Transphobia, homophobia, Islamophobia, anti-Semitic behavior, sexism. All these things started in 2010. How is our world getting better in America if all of a sudden everything is about race, sex, and religion? How is that better? How are we getting better? Kamala literally had a group of people, white guys for Kamala. All right. Hey, Trump. Hey, here's what I want you to do. Set up a Zoom meeting and call it white guys for Donald Trump. See what happens. It's insanity. And again, new polls has Trump leading in 4 swing states. This one's a little old. This is from August 11th, so we're 4 days late. We'll get more data here soon. Anti-Trump pollster Frank Luntz just stunned CNN after admitting Trump is doing much better with union members. There is so much going on, guys. There's so much going on with actual polling data with the black community, with union members that you guys don't most likely understand if you're only getting your source from the news media. So let's listen.
Assure you that Donald Trump is doing better among the average union member, not teachers' unions and not the unions for government, but everybody else, the trades, the people who work with their hands. He's doing better among them than any Republican has done in decades. This is not going to be a problem for him. The union leadership is more divided from their membership, and the louder that it gets, the greater the divides are going to come. And in my focus groups, and this is remarkable to me, the union membership says they don't speak for me. And I've been doing this now since I hate to say this, 89, 1990. I've never had union people publicly say they don't speak for me.
Wow. Nobody's, You don't get this on other channels, guys, but listen to that. Listen to that. So we know unions are flipping. This guy's been doing this since 1989, and he's telling you that this is something he's never seen before. This is the reality. I showed you the polling data, how Trump is ahead by 6.5 to 7 points right now from Kamala if you compare against historical for the last 2 elections. Now, let's listen here. CNN in total meltdown over Trump-Elon X space event. Let's listen to this. Let's listen.
Began with 40 minutes of silence and then a bropocalypse of politics. No matter how you frame it or what caused the glitch, what was finally said between Donald Trump and Elon Musk at last night's Big X event can largely be defined as a rant filled with familiar lies and lines of attack.
Isn't that great? That's what they got out of this video, guys. They're going to cherry pick. And also, CNN, there's a video with Dana where they altered the interview. They altered the interview on this thing and made it to where Trump and Elon, it sounded like they were downplaying and almost mocking how bad it was for the bombings that happened in World War II within Japan. For Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They edited the video and took a conversation about nuclear power and how it was much safer, and Elon talking about how he had ate food that came out of Fukushima, like that was grown not too far from the Fukushima plants where people don't live. And he's like, I ate the food because it's safe. And people don't realize that also with newer technology, some of these things don't melt down. So they took a conversation that was pro-energy and pro-nuclear, and they glued it together with what happened in Japan during World War II, so that they could make it sound like these guys were minimizing what happened during us dropping nukes on Japan. It's insane. It's insane what's happening right now. And again, this is JD Vance. Basically, if you guys didn't hear before, JD Vance is brilliant. I won't play all of it right now. There is another video that I might play in its entirety where Dana from CNN interviewed JD Vance, and he destroyed her on every level. She had all these gotchas. He is so well spoken. He's going to do a great job representing Donald Trump and clarifying his positions where Donald does not have a lot of strength in those things. I think what Elon is doing is he's softening the message, giving Trump a platform where he's not being attacked by liberals, where he can just kind of speak his mind. And then what JD Vance is doing is saying, no, all your little sound bites, here's the truth. And he crushes everybody he speaks to. People don't want to interview JD Vance from the left. They don't want to. That's the debate between the VPs, between Tim Walz and JD Vance, will destroy their party. It will destroy them. I can't wait. That's the one I'm most excited about. All right. Let's see. Low speed. They arrested grandmas, but not the Hamas supporters that destroyed monuments and attacked Jews. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff, man. Needs 55. Another great job, Jesse. Really appreciate you, man. Thank you, sir. Mark Bentley, union rank and file are finally realizing they've been getting played, except for the teachers union, of course, which ought to be neutered. I mean, if we remove the Department of Education, it'll be harder for them to do what they want to do. And that doesn't mean removing education, guys, just so you know. God. Tired Gang, the video splicing is similar to what they do to Joe Rogan to make it look like he was endorsing Harris when he wasn't. Yeah, exactly. All this craziness, guys. All this craziness. I want to see if there's anything else here before we retire. There's been some good ones. 4 years ago, cleaned the streets. Oh, listen to this. This is a guy in San Francisco, a gay man. Listen to this. Listen to his thoughts on all of this stuff. Yeah. When you got union people, black people, and gay people, and transgender people that are backing your Republican conservative campaign, you know the left has become insane. Listen to this.
Why are illegal immigrants more important than Americans? I'd like to hear an answer. Why are people illegal? Why are illegal immigrants more important than homeless people sleeping on the streets? Why do we, in one of the biggest economies here in California, take care of illegal immigrants, but our people are sleeping on the streets? I'd like to hear an answer to that. Why? Nobody can ever answer that question. Why don't people put American citizens first, but illegal immigrants get everything? And I hope you post this. I want this to go viral because I give a damn and I care about my community. My dad is a retired Navy captain. He served our country honorably. My grandfather is a retired Navy captain, and I'm doing my part to help our country because I give a damn and I'm going to fight for it. And I am 100% voting for Donald Trump, the Democrat Party.
Dude, I just can't. Again, I don't think people are ready, guys. Oh, I better take this one off. This isn't real. This is where they said that Robert Kennedy was going to be working with Kamala Harris's campaign. That was all bullshit. He denied it. But isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy that we're at a time in day and age where a gay man in San Francisco is telling you how adamant he is about supporting Donald Trump because of the illegal immigration and the way that the policies have been underneath the Democratic Party? It is nuts to hear how much these people are against. And again, this is just Kamala stealing Trump's no tips policy after she was the deciding vote to implement harsher governance of tips. It's just shocking. When they say inflation is down, okay, this is a good one. Let's listen to this. This is J.D. Vance, but this is a good representation of who this man is. We only have a few more left, and then we'll be done, guys. Sir.
The New York Times, I wanted to ask you about the latest economic news from this morning with inflation now being under 3%, the lowest rate since mid-2021. What is your sort of reaction to that news?
Well, I think the crowd reaction says it all. Look, when they say that inflation is down, they mean from a baseline where groceries are already 30% more expensive than they were when Donald Trump was president.
Well done. Love this guy.
And they're not saying it's coming down. They're just saying it's not going up as fast as it was 3 years ago. That is not a reputation or a record to brag on. That's a record to be ashamed of. Why did it take them so long to get inflation to where it is? And why are prices so high? It's because Kamala Harris failed to do her job. So if they want to go around, and this is, you know, it's funny. Kamala Harris, on the one hand, will say, on day one, we're going to tackle the affordability crisis. And like I said earlier,
sorry to interrupt. Tesla's up almost 7% right now. I'm probably up at least $250,000 or $300,000 on the day. Pretty stoked about that. So anyway, sorry.
Kamala Harris has been the vice president for 3.5 years. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, she's in effect been the acting president because we all know Joe Biden isn't home. So she's been the one controlling government policy for 3.5 years. She says she wants to tackle the affordability crisis on day one. And then on the other hand, she'll say, oh, we've already got inflation under control.
Guys, she's already at day what? How we're 3.5 years in. 1,000? She's at day 1,000. Or so why hasn't she done? Whatever. It's just insanity. All right, let's see here. I honestly don't care. He's already said everything he needed to say. Create a big. Oh, this is Haley talking about. I met her actually. She's a pro Bitcoin person. But she said. Let's go back. Let's not paraphrase. Trump and Elon discussed inflation earlier and didn't even mention Bitcoin or crypto. Do you feel cared about, Anon? And I said, I honestly don't care. And I got about half of what she got. That's not bad. I didn't get to ratio her, but I'm a small account. He already said everything he needs to. He's going to create a Bitcoin stockpile reserve. He's going to create a BTC and crypto council. He's going to work to make sure that America is leading in finance. And I'm like, what I'm worried about right now is having a Marxist as the president. In case you guys don't know, Kamala's father taught, I think it was Stanford, taught Marxist economics. He's basically a communist, okay? Marxism is communism. And all of her policies sound like communism, but she acts like they're socialism. So I'm worried about that and the destruction of our society in the next 4 years. This is the first election where I'm really frightened by the outcome of it if Kamala wins, especially when we're seeing the craziness that's happening in other parts of the world like Europe. So yeah, I don't give a shit if he didn't mention Bitcoin specifically during this one fucking meeting. He already said everything he needed to say. All right, let's go back. I think we're going to leave it there. We did a lot today, guys. We did a lot today. So just to summarize, J.D. Vance going to help these guys crush it. Pro-Palestine movement and riots are probably going to happen more. And I think we could see some really crazy stuff in the Democratic National Convention if we can get some citizen journalists to show it. Again, Trump is on fire. He's starting to get focused. I think he really is inspired by what happened with the space and the fact that over 1 billion views have already happened on the interview between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I actually think we should have at least 1 or 2 more of those in the next couple of months to make sure that, he can really get his messaging out, make them topic specific. And again, keep inviting Kamala and let the world know that she does not want to come. And Please don't come. She's not coming, guys. Please don't come. She's not coming. Yay. All right, let me look at notes here real quick. But there's so many good things happening right now. I just don't want to hear conservatives and independents that want a better future for this country and that align with democracy and capitalism and that all these things. I don't want them to be disheartened by what they're seeing on the media with these lies and falsehoods, because this stuff is not true. I'm going to skip this ad here because I don't want to be interrupted at the end. But this stuff is not true. There is a reality behind it. I will continue to portray that reality so that you guys can understand it, since not everybody is retired and has as much time on their hands as I do. So that's my dedication to you guys. DLO's up 9%. Tesla's up almost 7%. Hood's up 6.3%. Cypher's up 9% on the day. CleanSpark's up 5.5%. MicroStrategy's up 5%. I could make $500,000 fucking dollars today. Yay, let's go. This is what capitalism brings, guys. It's the ability to enrich yourself. Our government has been screwing us for a long time with money printing and taxation and overspending and inefficiency. Let's fix it. Let's fix it and go back to our capitalistic roots where we can invest in great companies. Those great companies can do really well, and we can make a bunch of money off of it and not have to work until the last day of our life in order to be able to decide what we want to do with our day. Okay? You guys all deserve financial freedom, not just me. Okay? There's people that have worked a lot harder in their lives than I have. I'm lucky. I was given a gift that I was able to find, right? Somebody gave me a gift that I was able to find. I'm a fucking high school dropout that went to school for a year and a half. Now I'm a retired multimillionaire. I couldn't get anything right. In 8th grade, I had 3 F's, 2 D minuses, and a D. That was my worst year in school. That's my background and where I come from. And then I failed immensely throughout life. And I failed in finance back in 2008 when I had to go bankrupt because I was an idiot playing with options and didn't know what I was doing. So I am filled with failure. And in this great country, I have turned that around and become a multimillionaire. So if I can do it, everybody can have a better life. And that's what I want. I love you guys. Thank you very much. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.